guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I can't believe I'm saying this again, but honestly it's been a while since I sat down to make this type of video. But yeah, there's a reason, guys. There's a reason. The STP has been yeah, the STP has been there, and I've also been focusing on making the STP diary videos. I just try to get someone from each specialty, but yeah, it's been taking a lot of my attention. And again, I've honestly been busy. If you see an STP trainee and they tell you they are busy, please believe them. And if you see any trainee posting any video online, please appreciate that person, because it takes a lot. Any moment I get now, I just want to relax and rest and don't have any other thing on my mind. But I'm committed to doing this, and I'm definitely going to finish it up. So many people have been messaging me, asking me questions about 2026 application. Yeah, I've gotten messages on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. So yeah, I know this video is long overdue. Again, it's November, and I don't know when this video will be up, but December, and application will most likely open in January. So yeah, it's long overdue. So yeah, let's look into 2026 application. And most people that have been messaging me have been asking me questions about 2026 application and what they will do differently if they had an unsuccessful application. So in this video, I'll be telling you guys what I'll do differently if I'm applying for STP application in 2026, especially if I had an unsuccessful application before now. Yeah, so if you're seeing my face for the first time, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Cynthia. I'm a second year trainee clinical scientist in cancer genomics, and I'm based in Nottingham. So welcome to my space. I talk about everything STP, and consider me your STP buddy. So you can ask me any question, drop it in the comment section, or you can message me on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I'll try my best to answer. So let's get right into this video. So, like I mentioned earlier, in this video, I'll be talking about what I'll do differently if I were applying for the STP in 2026, and especially if I had an unsuccessful STP application in the past. I know that a couple of people applied in 2025 and they might want to apply again in 2026, and some people have applied severally, a couple of times, maybe 2, 3, 4 times, and now they are looking into 2026 and they are thinking about what they should do differently. Well, this is just my opinion. I do not work directly with the National School of Healthcare Science. I am just a trainee, and I'm telling you guys what I'll do differently. Yeah, so let's get in. First of all, I would get someone to review my application. Here's what I mean. So in the application, you wrote a supporting information, which is what is read before you are shortlisted. Yeah, because yeah, the STP application process, the first step is the situational judgment test, where you are longlisted, and after that your essay would be read, and you'll be scored against the STP person specification, and that is what determines if you'd get shortlisted or not. So when I advise people about STP application, I tell them to do their best in the application, then prepare for the situational judgment test, because it's one thing to do your best in the application, and if you don't prepare well for the situational judgment test, you might not be longlisted, and as a result of that, your supporting information would not be read. So if you do your best to have a good supporting information and you also prepare for the situational judgment test, then that increases your chances of getting longlisted. And when your supporting information is read, if you've done well, then you'll be shortlisted, and then we'll talk about interview and other things. But so many people have applied, and now they are trying to see what they can do differently for 2026 application. So if I were in your shoes, this is exactly what I'll do. I'll try to get a clinical scientist to read my supporting information. I know your next question is going to be, where will you find a clinical scientist, blah, blah, blah. Slow down, we are going to get into it, right? So let me tell you guys why I said this. So a very close friend of mine applied for the STP last year, and she applied for a physical science specialty. I personally read her supporting information, and I ensured that every tip and advice I gave, I tried to make sure that her supporting information reflected the STP core person specification. And I was sure somewhere in here that she would be shortlisted, but she was not shortlisted. Of course, she passed the situational adjustment test, but she wasn't shortlisted. And as a result of that, I started thinking of what we should do differently, because that's actually my first experience with getting rejected on the STP, because she's very close to me. Yeah, very, very close to me. So and because I read her supporting information, it kind of made me feel like I made this application, and because it was not successful, I was really shocked. But here is what happened. So we tried to come up with options. So she's based in Leeds, so we went to the different NHS trusts available around her, and we went online to the physical science specialty, medical physics. We tried to open the opportunity, because what will you do differently to make sure your application this year is not the same with what you are going to do next year? Because if you didn't get in this year, what makes you think you'll get in next year if you put up the same application? So we went to the different websites. We're looking for volunteering opportunity, work experience. We're looking for open days. Last year she attended open days as well, but this time around we needed something different that will give her a different experience. So in trying to search for that, it was very difficult and we couldn't get any opportunity. So I reached out to some of my STP friends, because I network a lot. So I have friends in at least different STP specialties. So I reached out to a trainee in the physical science specialty, and I'm like, look, this is the experience I'm having. Is it possible to get this opportunity with you guys and all that? So she reached out to her manager, and luckily they organized what is it called? It was a physical event, just one day. They give you a tour of the department and all of that. But most importantly, the manager asked her, can I see the application you submitted last year? And that was a deal breaker for me. So the review she got on that application shocked me, and I learned something new, and I realized that, oh, this is this, and I have to say this in my video so that others can learn from it, because my specialty is cancer genomics and everything I know is literally life science. So we're talking about physical science, and I don't know anything about it. So in my own perspective, her essay was good, but from the perspective of the manager within that specialty, the essay was not good. So her interest, her background, she did physics and astronomy, and she's applying to medical physics, and her experience, her interest, I think kind of relates to something like light and all that, irrespective of the fact that you try to say you are coming to do medical physics because of this. Here's my understanding from the feedback. So the manager said if she read that supporting information, she would think that they might not be able to provide her with what she needs or what her interests are, because this is medical physics, and your project and some of the interests and things you talked about are more related to light and not exactly medical physics. So she would think that we might not be able to provide you with what you need. So it wasn't more focused on medical physics. It talked about something different. So here's what I learned from it. It's better to get someone within that specialty to read your application. But if that's not possible, then that's fine. You can just get someone above you, maybe someone that is not a family member, to read your application. If possible, get a clinical scientist within the specialty you are applying to read your application. You can also try trainee clinical scientists, because these people are training to become clinical scientists, and they might have eye for some of those things. And they also went through the STP application. So they've done this thing, and if they think your essay is not good, they might be able to make some correction. And your next question will be, oh, where will I find clinical scientists? Blah, blah, blah. You can go to LinkedIn, find them on LinkedIn. There are so many people on LinkedIn. That's why I honestly wanted to make this video, because I know that you're going to need enough time. These people are extremely busy. Trust me. Don't expect that you are going to send a message to someone and they are going to say yes. They might not accept your application. So that's the reality, and that's the understanding you might have. So if I had an unsuccessful application and I'm applying to the STP in 2026, I will go on LinkedIn and target at least 10 clinical scientists in cancer genomics. I'll try to message them, knowing fully well that they might all say no, they might not reply, but one person might say yes. So get this person to review your application for you. Trust me, I'm going to say it again. They are extremely busy. They have turnaround times and so many things they are meeting up with. But you might be lucky. Someone might say yes to you. And if you cannot get a clinical scientist, try to get a trainee clinical scientist. So it's very important to target people that are within your specialty. They have the experience, they have the understanding, and that way they might be able to give you a very good feedback. Just like the story I shared earlier, I thought the essay was good, but my specialty is life sciences. Yeah, I have the STP experience, but I don't understand physical sciences. But if I get a life science, a cancer genomics, or a genomics supporting information, I might be able to give a better feedback, because I understand the current advancement, I understand the research, I understand what the role of a clinical scientist is. So if I see an essay that is not saying the right thing, because for a typical example is most people always focus on research. If I see an essay like that, I might be able to tell you, no, we don't do just research. Bulk of our work is not just research. This is what we do majorly, but research is just an element of it. So I might be able to do that because I understand my specialty, and that's why I'm giving you guys this advice. So try to find a clinical scientist or a trainee clinical scientist or an expert. Whoever is an expert within that specialty you are applying to, go to LinkedIn. There's some of them on Instagram as well. Try to chat them on Instagram and then try to see if you get that opportunity. Again, for people that are already working within the department they are hoping to apply to, or within the department they are applying to, this point is also for you guys. I believe those of you that are already working within a particular technology, within a particular department, let's say for those of you applying to genomics, cancer genomics, bioinformatics, genomics counseling, some of you are already genetic technology, some of you are healthcare associates or healthcare practitioners working within this department. I believe you guys have an upper hand. For those that are already biomedical scientists within biochemistry, microbiology, you have an advantage. You have the experience, you understand the profession. So irrespective of whatever anybody is saying, I believe you guys have the experience and you also have higher chances. And in relation to this particular point we're talking about, you have access to these people. They are your colleagues. You work together with clinical scientists already. So I would advise you guys to take advantage of that opportunity. Talk to them. Send your essay to them. Request that they should read your essay. I know that it's difficult for some people to let other people read what they've written, especially when you know them or when you see them every day. But if you applied last year and if you applied a couple of times, or if you're hoping to apply in 2026 and you really want to get in, I think you should take advantage of the fact that you have access to these people, your manager, whoever it is that is training the STPs. You work with these people, just walk up to them, hey, I'm hoping to do this application. I'm sure you understand what I mean by these people are extremely busy. You know the turnaround time they are facing, you know everything they have to do. So now that you have the opportunity, application will open maybe around the end of January. So use this opportunity, approach them, talk to them, let them read your essay. Give them this time so that they'll have enough time to look at it and give you a feedback. Because if you put out a particular application 2 years ago, you put out the same application last year and nothing is changing, I believe you should take a step to do something different. And if you're applying for the first time, take this step, do something different. You have access to these people. For the other people, for the other persons that are not working within the department, they are the ones I'm giving the advice of checking them on LinkedIn. And honestly, I'm not assuring you that you are going to I'm not assuring you that it's going to be positive or you are going to get the response you are looking out for, but it's just an opportunity to do something different. For those asking me what I'll do differently, if I applied last year, this year, I'll try to go out of my way, do something different, try to see if someone will look at my essay. And if I don't get a clinical scientist, that's fine. For me, it was my husband that reviewed my essay. He's a family member and it worked for me. It might also work for you, but if you have the opportunity, try to get these people. And again, if you're already working in a lower band within that field, if you're already working within medical physics, whichever specialty and you're hoping to apply to the STP, I think you should approach these people, approach the clinical scientists. If you don't want to approach clinical scientists and you have STPs within your department, try to see if someone can look at your essay and see what they have to say. Again, I've seen situations where people are chatting me on Instagram, on TikTok, and they are just telling me, hi. What do you want me to say to you? Why are you telling me hi? Don't do that, please. If you're going to message somebody, you have to just send it like a cold email. Say everything you need. Try to say everything you need, please. And that way, the person might be able, because you don't know who this person is and you're trying to request for something. Why are you just sending a hi? So try to give a constructive message to increase your chances of getting a response from that person. I've said so much. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's continue. And some people will say, oh, what if they don't respond and all that? What about your lecturer from the university? So if I try clinical scientists and they are not responding, I'll try to reach out to other professionals within the academic setting. I'll try to reach out to my project supervisor. I'll try to reach out to some of my lecturers. And most importantly, download the STP core person specification. And also, for instance, last year they gave them 3 questions they wanted them to answer. And in our year, in 2024, they also just told us to write against the person specification of the STP. So whatever the instructions were and the core person spec, so you give all that instruction to whoever is going to review your essay. So try your lecturers, try your project supervisor. And if you still can't get someone, try a family member. The most important thing is to get a different person to read the essay you've written. You might think you've done very well, but if someone else should look at it, they might see something that you did not see, or they might make a correction that will make a difference. So that's my first point. So again, I'm going to reiterate, try to get a professional or a clinical scientist or a trainee clinical scientist or someone very familiar with the specialty you are applying to. Try to get the person to read your essay. That's my first point. Now, my second point would be try to get an experience within the specialty you're applying to. So I know it's very difficult to get experience, very difficult. So it might be a lab tour, it might be work experience, it might just be anything. Try to get that. These people have different departments, they all have website, they have email, they have phone numbers. Try to call, try to email and just request, and try to attend events, conferences. That way you'll be able to network. That is how you meet people. So if you attend a conference and you see a clinical scientist give a presentation, that way you've gotten their name, you can add them on LinkedIn. Oh, I listened to your presentation on this conference, blah blah blah, I really love this, blah blah blah, I'm hoping to come into this profession. That is how you create this relationship. Again, I always say this and I always post open day opportunities on my Instagram. Please try to attend open days. If you go to the National School of Healthcare Science website, go to the STP page and all that, they have a whole page dedicated to open days, and all the open days that are available, I think within the next few months are all there. I personally went to that page and I saw different open days available, both for genomics, for medical physics, for different specialties. If you don't find one for your specialty, you can try to attend from another specialty, and that way you can listen to tips and advice. So if you go to those open days, you most likely see a clinical scientist make a presentation or ask questions. That way you can pick the person's name, and sometimes they might share their email address. You can email and you've already created a connection or a basis that you can have that conversation with. I attended this open day, I listened to you, I think I felt really motivated, blah, 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 blah. Then you can then present your request, which is the first point I made. And these are opportunities for you to meet these people. I think I'll try to find that link specifically and put it on my Instagram. But get there and you'll find there are a lot even for genomic counseling. So you can attend these open days, ask your question, and most importantly, try to get to see and meet these clinical scientists. You hear what they actually do, because I will tell you that before I got into the STP, I didn't have a perfect understanding of what clinical scientists do, because I said they analyze, they interpret, blah blah blah. I really didn't understand. I had no good understanding of what that meant, but now I have the understanding, which is why I do this, to try to demystify this role. But as it stands now, I might not be able to do this the way I was doing it in first year, because there's so much going on right now. And when I was making all those videos, I said, oh, the STP is intense, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I can't even say it's intense anymore. This is the reality. This is what the STP is. I'm not saying this to scare anyone, but I just want to make sure you understand what you are getting yourself into. Everything I thought that I had in first year, it literally doubled. There's so much I'm supposed to do. And now I've started my project. And everyone is asking me, oh, the project design, you need to start thinking about it. Well, this is what the STP is, right? So you need to understand that this is what you are getting into. So what was I saying before I got to this point? Yeah, attend open days. Try to get names of clinical scientists, try to get email address, search them on LinkedIn. If they put their email address, good opportunity, you email them, ask the right question, ask for opportunity if they can review your essay. I know a lot of you are going to come, oh, Cynthia, can you review my essay? Cynthia, can you review my essay? I will definitely do for a few people. It's one thing I do that kind of, I don't know if I should say, it's just, I don't know, I don't mind dedicating my time to try to give back, because these are some of the opportunities I wish I had when I was applying to the STP. But honestly, I may not be able to do so much because the STP is really intense and my time now is very precious to me. So any opportunity I get to do this type of thing, just know that I'm making a sacrifice. So don't expect that Cynthia would say yes. I might not be able to review essays for so many people, but I'll definitely do for some people. You might be lucky. Who knows? Yeah, so attend open days. Try to see if you can get a work experience or opportunity within the specialty you are applying to. Again, my third point would be start now to draft your application. If you're applying for the first time, start now to draft your supporting information. If you write an essay today, I promise you that if you come back to it in January, you might see some mistake you've made or something you might want to add. If you draft an essay today and you attend an open day tomorrow, you might hear something and decide to change something about your application. Don't wait till the last minute before you do it. So start now to draft your application. Start to think about the type of things you might want to put. So if you listen to the STP diaries, most of the trainees, if you ask them how they were able to stand out in their application, they will tell you that they try to match the core person specification of the STP, which is what I always say. Don't just go ahead to write whatever you think is the right thing. You are being marked against the core person specification of the STP. So download that document, read and understand it. Try to see the ones you pair together. I've made a couple of videos before talking about how I wrote my supporting information. I don't know if I'll have the time to make such video again, but if I would have that time, oh God, I have so many things I want to say. Okay, I need to make a video talking about my specialty. So let me know in the comment section if there are people that are interested in me making a video of what we actually do in genomics and what genomics is about. If you're interested in having that overview, let me know and I'll see if I'll make that video or maybe do a live section to talk about my specialty. Let me know if you want to see that. And let me know if you would be interested in seeing a video about how I would write up, because yeah, I know my experience has changed and so many things have changed, and Just let me know if you want to see a video about how I would write an STP supporting information. Yeah, but most importantly, start now to draft your application. But we're getting into Christmas, and people might get carried away with the holiday. So draft your application so that when you attend open day, or when people read your application and give feedback, you have enough time to implement the feedback. Don't come to me on the week that the STP application is opening and you're asking me to read your essay. I might not be able to, because I'm starting my project in January, and you might expect the same for all the trainees you are chatting up. People are starting their project, people have exams, I have conferences I'm expected to attend, so I might not have that time. And I said it earlier, clinical scientists are very busy. So if you start now to draft your supporting information, then if you're messaging anyone, you'd be able to implement the review or the correction and write a better application to improve your chances. So these are some of the things I would do differently if I were applying for the STP in 2026. And if I had an unsuccessful application in the past, probably there's something I'm not doing right. Also, your application might be very good. Don't beat yourself so much. I need you to understand that the STP is very competitive. And again, my interaction with people made me to understand that some of these people are very experienced. Some of my colleagues were band 6 in their trust before they came in. I had going into biochemistry, hematology, microbiology, made me to understand why these specialties are very, very competitive. Most of these people are HCPC registered biomedical scientists. I'm not saying this to scare you, because people like me also got in without any NHS experience. And there are also people that got in right from university. But you have to do, I'm trying to make you understand the type of people you are competing against. You're competing against HCP registered scientists. You're competing against PhD holders. So you need to make sure your application is very good so that you even stand a chance of getting in. These people have the experience. They understand who clinical scientists are. So you can imagine the type of application they are going to put out there. So you have to try to make yours outstanding so that you stand a chance. Again, what I was going to say is that the STP is very competitive. If you are not getting in, it might not be because your application is not good enough. It's just because the competition ratio is very, very high. So it might not be your fault. I also tell like a couple of people I know that applied for biochemistry last year. I'm like, so many people are applying for biochemistry. You are not bad, you are smart, you know what you are doing, you have that experience, but it might not be your fault. The competition ratio is just too high. So you might visit the STP application again, go online, look at the competition ratio, look at what is going on, and try to see the specialty. I'm not going to tell you not to apply to a particular specialty because the competition ratio is too high. I'm just telling you that when I was applying, I also looked at the competition ratio while choosing my specialty. I've said it before, I have my reasons why I picked cancer genomics, but I definitely looked at the competition ratio. So it might not be your fault, it might just be that the competition ratio is too high, because last year they had over 7,000 applications for barely 300 slots. You can imagine that they can't shortlist everybody. So don't beat yourself up so much. Don't feel too bad. You've done your best to put that application out, and the only thing you can do now is to try to improve your application. Don't put out the same application you used last year, the application you used last 2 years. Don't ever submit the same application. If it didn't go through last year, there might be a reason why it didn't go through. Get someone to look at it to try to figure out why it didn't work out. I can't think of any other thing right now, but these are just the points I thought of sharing with you guys. So get a clinical scientist or a professional within the specialty you're applying to read your essay. What was the second point again? Okay, try to attend events. Try to attend conferences, events, open days, search for work experience, search for opportunities. Oh God, I can't even remember all the points I made earlier, but this is just what I came to say here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to my channel and also click the notification bell so that whenever I post a video, you'll be notified. And I've also made series of STP diary videos, STP diaries, whatever the name is, trying to interview trainees from all STP specialty. If you're applying for any specialty, please listen to the interview I had with that trainee. Visit Time for Tea with me. Yeah, her name is Meg. Also listen to the interview she had with the trainee in the specialty you are applying to. No experience is a waste. Anything can happen. You don't know what you hear or what you would add that would change your experience. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, STP with Cynthia. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. If you want me to make a video about anything, I'm not going to promise you that I'll make that video, but I'll definitely try my best. I'll make another video talking about my a reflection of my first year on the STP, because I know some people just started the STP and they're also asking a couple of questions, but I'm going to try my best anyway. Oh, that's enough. I'm talking too much. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.